Hello and welcome to round 5 of the 2019 GR Supra GT Cup. Today we're going to be watching drivers from our North America region. To talk you through the action is going to be myself, Chris McCarthy, and as ever, alongside me is Jimmy Broadbent.
I can't escape you, Chris, can I?
I know.
Nowhere to go.
Well, that's a nice thing to say to get us underway. Well, thank you for joining us. Let's have a look at the points. We've had 4 rounds in this 13-round championship so far, and Carl Lam it is who is leading the way. 5,424 points, 300 points clear of Turismo Defsun. So Turismo Defsun, championship-wise, could do with putting a few cars between himself and Carl Lam today. Some familiar names there. It's a pretty close battle for 4th place at the moment, which is being led by FT Ant.
I've got to say, it's really nice to see Carl Lam and Defsun. These guys are essentially fighting across every competition that's available in Gran right now, but this time it's Carl Lam out on top. Usually we see Defsun leading, so good to see a bit of a switch up there, I think.
Now, well, let's have a look at what they're going to be tackling today. It is going to be the very famous Nordschleife circuit. So it's going to be an interesting one, this. Of course, we've got the GP circuit at the bottom as well, in addition, just to make things even more interesting. That is the length of the circuit for you. That's how many sectors we have. And you can see the famous corners added in there as well. Pretty interesting one, this, and a very tricky challenge in these cars as well.
Yeah, very, very tricky. I mean, it's easy to say this, but lots of corners to learn, lots of corners to master, and of course, when you're driving at this level, you've got to be perfect all the way through. Exactly.
You can't make any mistakes because it may lead to penalties. Here we will see the penalty lines which will be situated in this race. So we've got one on that very long back straight. You definitely don't want to be having a penalty there, and then one going down to the hairpin at the bottom of the GP layout as well. Yeah,
the one at the bottom a little bit less, I say, aggressive of the penalty zone than the one at the end of the start of the Dottinger, because you have the Dunlop chicane, so Dunlop hairpin just after the one on the GP circuit, whereas on the one on the back straight, you have all that time lost, and we've seen in practice races people doing this, and essentially if you get a penalty there, that's your race done. So. Yeah. Really got to try and avoid that.
You've got to be very, very careful indeed. Well, let's have a look at the details for this race then. Of course, we're going to be in the Toyota GR Supra RZ. Everyone in the same cars, everyone on the same sports hard tyres. 3 laps and 15 times tyre wear. Strategy-wise, they're going to go all the way to the end.
Yeah, definitely. And as you see there, our strategy graphic guy got the day off. It's just 3 laps and... Although pit stops are available, if you do make one, you're doing something very wrong. It's going to be just lights to flag on the same set of tyres. They'll get a bit more worn towards the end because of the tyre multiplier around here, but that's just something our drivers are going to have to deal with.
Yeah, well, this is it. The concept is to make it a very fair race and to make it down to the drivers themselves. And let's see who's going to be leading us round down towards the first corner. We're going to go straight down to the grid now and get the full running order for you. Okay, let's go down to the grid then and see who is going to be starting this one from pole position. There you can see the cars lined up, getting ready to go racing. And now let's have a look at who is going to be leading them down towards turn number 1. It is going to be Carl Lam, one of the championship protagonists. Carl Lam will be on pole position with Nick KL. The Canadian's going to be starting in 2nd place. NZ is going to be starting from 3rd place. No sign of Defsun just yet. Gator Darrell is going to be 4th place, and up in 5th place then we have Taki Tally. Going down to 6th place, it is Turismo Leicester. Well, good to see Turismo Leicester up there on the grid, a familiar name in the North America region races. And then we've got Arku on 7th place. Tudali is going to be 8th place. Going down now to 9th place, we have a Cards fan. And rounding out the top 10 then, we have Salati Cyrus. Did I say it right?
I think you said it right, We'll go from there. But just outside the top 11, we have Kipton, starting in 11th place. And in 12th, we have Darweezy in the red Toyota Supra. Of course, all in Supras in this race. DCT starting in 13th position. I'm sure he'll be a little bit disappointed with that qualifying place. Apple Pop 007 there in 14th, then followed by in Racing Sourceman in 15th position. Down in the 16th we have CARM towards the back of the field, and have a very Castrol livery knockoff there on the DNA entry in 17th. Then in 18th it is Fluffy Buddha, it's an interesting name.
Yeah.
Then in 19th position we have TH50 Racing in the rather blue entry there. And that is our field. 19 cars will take to the start here at the Nürburgring Endurance Circuit.
Well, championship-wise, Carl Lam, this is, I guess, a good situation for him, but Carl Lam still has a race he'll want to go and win, and Nick KO will want to have something to say about that. Likewise, with the likes of NZ, Gator Darrell, Taki Tally, Turismo, Leicester, it just goes down, doesn't it? Well, so for a clean start, first of all, and then good clean racing after that. This is the end of that straight we were talking about. A couple of very quick corners lead us into that, and I wonder who's going to be leading by the time we get round for lap number 3. Carl Lam it is, though, who will lead us onto the straight for the first time, with Nick KO just behind.
A lot of cats on there on Carl Lam's. I've just noticed that. It's a cat car, but he'll be thinking of that right now. He'll be looking at the lights coming up, and you'll see him on your screen very shortly. We'll have 5 lights, and when they go out, we'll be going racing here at the Nürburgring 24-hour circuit. So there you go, 1 light, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it's green flag then here at the Nürburgring 24-hour circuit. Carl Lam, of course, will lead us down to T1, down to the first hairpin. Nick KO immediately jumps into the slipstream. Might we see an attempt down here to T1? I don't think we will. Rolling starts tend to stop a T1 pass, but Carl Lam goes defensive anyway. Nick KO goes to the inside, as does NZ in 3rd position. I'd type through there. I think Nick got a bit of a bump there from NZ coming through the first corner. Might be a penalty if he's not careful, but a little bit messy through there. Nick getting a bit sideways, trying to get on the power. No traction control being used by these guys out here. You'll notice that as the race goes on, but that little bit of incident there between 2nd and 3rd has allowed a small gap to open up to Carl Lam, a 2nd already at the front, but down the field very close as Gator Darrell looks to the inside, coming down the right hander there of NZ, not quite close enough to do anything about it there, and NZ as a result a little bit sideways of the corner as we come down to the Dunlop hairpin for the first time.
Yep, Nick KO under pressure a little bit there in 2nd place. It was almost contact, as you said. Maybe there was slight contact going through the first corner, but no penalties for NZ, so it certainly wasn't nothing to warrant that. Gator Darrell there in 4th place. It is pretty close all the way down to about 6th place in this queue for 2nd place. We've got a bit of a gap back to Arku, and then it spreads out pretty much back from then. Small battles just outside the top 10, but this is certainly the one we will focus on. Is the gap coming down between 1st and 2nd? I think it is, and Carl Lam at the moment may be leading, but Nick KO in chase. Did run wide there though, Nick KO, and that's going to just hamper him going down the straight now as we go up towards the chicane for the first time. NZ closing in the slipstream, but it is almost impossible to overtake through the chicane unless you're already alongside, as you'll find out if you haven't driven around here before, because it is a very quick chicane indeed. There we go, into the left now through the right. A lot of speed carried, particularly in these cars through there, as they now come into the right-hander and onto the Nordschleife we go. Well, good luck everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
There should be a banner there that says that, like, good luck, and a waiver.
Good luck, see you on the other side, maybe.
Yeah, in brackets, maybe, yeah. And that's why you saw NZ and Gator Darrell, they were so keen on trying to get by Nick KO here, because actually getting past someone on the Northern Loop, on the Nordschleife, on the old circuit here, is incredibly difficult. There are only really two places to do it on the entirety of the lap around here. Otherwise it's just a matter of follow the leader, and that's quite literally the case here for Nick KO coming through this 3rd section. He has gained a little bit though on Carl Lam here, so maybe a little bit more confident in the first lap. Just not quite as quick on the GP circuit. They're both very different tracks. The GP circuit is a very modern circuit, something that we're all kind of used to over Sims and just in real life racing. Whereas the Nordschleife, I think it's fair to say it's a unique track, and definitely a circuit from yesteryear, but provides a very big challenge for our drivers. And there are some of those out there who rise to the challenge a bit easier than that on the GP circuit. Right now, Nick KO is putting all kinds of pressure on our leader, Carl Lam. He's going to have a draft down the hill now. These cars get up to about 160 mile an hour down here, which in a road car is incredibly quick, especially as you have to come over this blind crest here. Usually in a GT3 car, Group 3 car, it's just a little bit of a blend through here, but it's a big lift, then back on the power, rear end slides out, then you hammer the brakes down here. It's downhill braking zone, so it's extended slightly, and try and tuck it in there with the right hand there for Arenberg as we head down towards the foxhole.
Yeah, Nick KO looking very competent. Oh, that was Taki Tally in the background running wide in 5th. on if Turismo Leicester will be able to get through. Well, Turismo Leicester has closed in, but I don't think was able to quite capitalise. But Nick KO looking very confident around the Nordschleife on this opening lap. Carlam, I think, feeling the heat just a little bit at the moment. I think we have to say some compliments to NZ as well, because NZ has risen to the challenge that Nick KO is putting on Carlam as well, and NZ is certainly going with him at the moment. Gator Darrell and Taki Tally, even though with that mistake, not too far behind either, but of course we only have done half a lap at the moment. There still is a very long way to go in this race. There you can see over 100 mph there as they flick through the left-hander, and you've got to be careful not to run wide there. You've got to get your braking point absolutely spot on there as well, because it is very easy to end up in that barrier. You just saw Nick KO has just dropped back again. This is what you see around the Nordschleife, gaps just open up and then close up all the time.
Especially with this kind of bunch of racing going on. Let's say, for example, Nick makes a mistake, but it isn't big enough for NZ to get by. That then slows up NZ, then slows up Gator, which then slows up, and this goes on, so on and so forth. So it really is just a matter of how clean you can be. NZ there going through miss hit miss and giving it a big load of right foot coming out of there, just about managed to keep it under wraps. So slowest part of the Nordschleife at the moment, so easy on the right foot through here. I'd say that though, these guys are just full throttle out of it. Obviously no worries about grip there, and the Supra coming out of the right hand and then downhill. This is actually very tricky corner. It's off camber and it's downhill. So you find yourself falling off to the outside of the circuit really quickly, and suddenly you're just cradled in the track right here. And again, off camber, uphill right-hander, which then puts you out to the left if you're not careful. It's this circuit has a lot of difficult areas to it. It requires a rhythm to get around. You have to know what you're doing. It isn't sharp inputs, it's just almost like a dance with the car. Unfortunately for me, I'm not a very good dancer, so I don't really get very far.
Well, I think we've seen that a few times. But I think what you have on Gran Turismo... we'll come back to that, because Gator Darrell's had a big moment, gone absolutely sideways, and Taki Tally is going to go through. So the Canadian now up into 4th place with... got Canadian drivers 2nd, 3rd and 4th in chase of the American out front. So just a simple mistake from Gator Darrell, ran too wide.
All it takes is one mistake around here, and that's it. He's lost a couple of places and a bit of momentum. Of course, as you said, that's now Turismo Leicester looking at the back of Gator Darrell and seeing if he can get by as well.
Here we go.
It's a replay of it. Such an easy mistake this. I think he got unsighted a bit by NZ. He went a bit wide himself, followed them off, and then just gunned it on the grass, and no grip out there. Car pitches to the right, and to be fair, he did very well to hang on to that.
I was just about to say that was a very good save actually, and Gator Darrell has, although he's dropped a place, this is far from a disaster. He's kept himself in the battle for 2nd place, which could become a battle for the lead at any point during this race should things stay as they are. But there you can see how quickly things can change around the Nordschleife, so expect that to happen a few more times. One thing I was going to say is good on Gran Turismo. Every time I try and say that, something happens, because Gator Darrell has just gone down the inside of Taki Tally, so I think I'll give up on that. That's Turismo Leicester off.
Wow.
Now that was Turismo Leicester trying to be perhaps slightly ambitious. Penalty.
I think there must have been contact there with Taki Tally.
Well, there was, but I want.
Yeah, I'd say there's a racing incident, and then there's contact, and that I think that was.
Here we go.
Here it is. I think we missed the contact initially there. I think it came right at the start. A little bit of contact there with Turismo Leicester. Maybe he got it for that.
Yeah.
Which would be.
That would be a bit...
That's not really correct. Unfortunately, we don't have live stewards for this, of course. It is just an inbuilt system, and sometimes it does go wrong. And unfortunately for Gator Darrell, that's now pretty much going to put an end to his race. He's going to have that 5-second penalty right on the back straight. It's going to be a disaster for him there. But otherwise, we have this top 6 pack breaking away. But now it's going to be 5 when Gator hits the Darrell, not Gator. When Darrell hits the penalty zone. But meanwhile, at the front, Carlam, he's got into a bit of a rhythm now. I think he got a little bit flustered in the first part of the lap and lost a bit of time, but now he's managed to bring the gap back up to nearly a second and a half. And this last sector here is where the driver makes the difference. It definitely is. It's such a technical part of the course in any car, but this car, the Supra here, with all the movement in the back of the car, with no TC of course, there's no downforce, really road tyres, the car wants to move around a lot, and the people who can manage that the best are the ones that pull away easy from this section.
And Darrell making more mistakes in the background there, and I'm not really surprised, because 5-second penalty, pretty much race over in terms of trying to get a good result that he was fighting for. But let's go back to this battle. NZ and Taki Tally right together. Now I wonder are they in a situation here? I mean, Taki Tally may feel he's the quicker driver, but they may be in a situation to work together here to go after the 2 leaders. But if a driver ahead is making a few mistakes, as NZ is, then it's probably worth Taki Tally actually trying to make a move.
Yeah, sorry to all over you there, Chris, but I just noticed in the background that Gator Darrell made a mistake and lost a place there to Turismo where he went off the circuit and just things go from bad to worse there. We've seen it before, just get flustered. He's just frustrated. So here it is now, just goes off the course here with this gravel, picks it up and just can't quite bring it back onto the track there. Actually cut over the circuit as well, so probably got even more of a penalty now after that. Just goes from bad to worse there for Darrell.
Yeah, well, you've got to feel sorry for him. He'll feel a bit hard done by, but it is even worse when things like that start happening. And there you can see Darrell in 6th place will drop a huge amount of positions when we get to the back straight. You'll see just how much you can be affected by getting a penalty. We did show you the penalty line before we got this race underway, and you're about to see it now. So there you can see once that bar fills up, Darrell will drop down the order. Here you go. Stay with this, because if this happens on the last lap to someone in our lead group, you'll see just how bad it is. Well, there we go, and off the throttle now for 5 seconds, and here come the cavalry basically coming through. That said, field fairly spread out, so he hasn't actually done too badly. Let's see, 9th. I think he'll probably come out 10th.
You might get trained by these guys back here. The thing is, it's not just getting off throttle, it's on the brakes.
Yeah.
You brake there, and if you speak to any racing driver, braking coming onto a long straight is probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
In terms of getting
no one ever advised you to do that.
It is the opposite of what you should be doing. And he might hang on to 10th here, though. Here comes 11th and 12th on the outside. They've got the run. He actually lost it. He's on the inside trying to just take the line. Oh, not quite going to have the speed there to defend there from left place. And now he's down to 12th. Darrell there, bad to worse there. But Burdock moving up into 11th. And of course, Kefton into 10th place. So we'll see if he can recover from this, but it's very unlikely there for Darrell.
Yeah, well, Darrell down in 12th and now in a pack, and Nick KL under pressure as NZ goes down the inside. Here we go, battle for second, starting to heat up, and NZ is going to be our new 2nd place driver if he can hold on. Oh, he's gone far too deep, and he's almost on the gravel there. Nick holds on to 2nd, Taki Tally will go through to 3rd, and Turismo Leicester, well, a little bit of contact as NZ was just static almost in the middle of the road, and Turismo Leicester up into 4th place, NZ down to 5th. Big mistake, man.
Going for 2nd and ends up in 5th. You know, something's gone wrong when that happens. But just too deep there. Got a little bit too enthusiastic going through there.
And Taki Tally's up to 2nd.
Oh, he is indeed, yeah. So he's taking advantage of that altogether and gone, you know what, I'm going to have the 2nd place. And that can happen sometimes, even if you aren't the one attacking, you'll have to defend. You have to then watch out behind you and see if there's someone else that can try and make a move. So NZ now is going to be a bit frustrated and saying that, oh wow, nearly runs it off the course there at Dunlop, and that's very easy to do that when you just carry a bit too much speed down the hill. Getting another downhill braking zone here, which means that the braking zone is kind of lengthened from when it would be on a flat surface. Coming up the Schumacher S, and Taki Tally there, he's maybe call him Sergey, I'm not really sure what we'd call him there, but different like, it's like a first and last name, isn't it? Yeah. But he's now trying to defend from Nick. Now the question is, he's got past Nick KL. Nick KL was not gaining on Car Lab, was falling back. Can Taki Tally, can he put away from Nick KL and maybe put a fight to our leader, who's now 2.5 seconds on the road? You can see him on the circuit, he's not far away in terms of distance.
No.
But 2.5 seconds is a fairly big gap to have around here, especially when you're trying to rely on the draft, which you won't really get that from 2.5 seconds back.
But it is easy, I imagine, on this track in particular, more than anywhere else. If you're Carlam, you're in a lead of 2.2 seconds. Is it easy now to become a little bit complacent, given how easy it is to make mistakes around here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Nordschleife, the Northern Loop, the part of the circuit we're entering just now, it is just a barrage of corners, and they all have to be taken slightly differently. It's not like a flat circuit where it's one line in, one line out. There is so much camber and elevation change here at the Nordschleife that it's just, you have to know the line, and sometimes the line isn't immediately apparent. And of course, in this car as well, the Supra, it's a fairly quick road car, 300 horsepower or so, but not quite enough not quite a racing car, unless you just pointed out, Chris, that gap.
It's just come down.
Yeah, Carl Lamb, we saw this last lap, he's not good for the first half of the track, is he?
That's come down by what, 1.4 seconds? This is an absolute disaster. I don't know what Carl Lamb's been doing. It's the complacency we were talking about. Maybe he just put pushed it a little bit too hard, and as you said, he wasn't very strong last time round, and that's being shown even more this time. Gap down to 7/10. Race has just completely changed, and Carlam, he'll see the gaps coming down. I don't know what's going to be going through his head now. It's going to be absolute panic setting in now. He'll be getting a little bit nervous because he can see Taki Tally's coming through. That's a driver we haven't seen in second place all race. Now Taki Tally is on fire.
See how much more comfortable he was there through the fast right, just carrying the slide through and then getting on the power instantly. Even a better run down the hill towards the Vauxhall now. There's no really the bars down here, but what was 2.5 seconds to 1/10 of a second in about a minute or two of driving. Looks like Taki Tally's really just stamping his mark in this race and saying, you know what, I think I can win this. And he's now putting the pressure onto Carl Lam, and Nick Kay out in the background, definitely not lacking commitment as he goes through the right-hander. Now everyone's bunched up, and where it was 2.5 seconds between first and second, it's now less than 2.5 seconds between the top 5.
Yeah, I've been in this situation before what Carl Lam's in. You look behind, you see a new driver in second, and you think, this guy is quicker than me. To win a race, of course, you need to think that you're the quickest driver out there and be confident enough to go and take the win. The last thing you want to do is be thinking too much about the guy behind. I think a little bit of that is going on at the moment with Carl Lam here, and you can see now, as you mentioned on the last lap, if someone ahead is slower, it's just going to back everyone up, and this lead pack is now starting to really close up. So we got Nick KL closing in, Turismo Leicester is starting to come into play into a lead battle for the first time, and NZ not too far behind either, despite that mistake earlier in the lap, or mistakes shall I say. It's starting to go close back in. So here we go, we're going to be 5 for the lead now on lap number 2. And Carl Lam is under a huge amount of pressure. He's going to be probably slightly defending in places, I imagine, now from Taki Tally.
Yeah, it's got to the point now where Taki Tally is just looking at essentially any opportunity to get by around here.
Look at that, oh dear.
Carl Lam goes very wide onto the runoff there, but just about comes back onto the line again and defends the place, but you can see that he's feeling this pressure, and there it is. He gets a 0.5 second penalty for his trouble. Now, 0.5 second isn't going to be the end of the race for him, but that will be the lead lost if this is a gap when we come to the back straight. And he'll know that now, and he'll be probably hitting his steering wheel thinking, oh, really didn't want to do that. But it's a pressure, and again, coming from his right hand, it's nowhere near the apex. He's trying to carry speed on the outside line, and then in comparison, Taki Tally looks composed.
I mean, with a penalty now, I wouldn't be surprised if Carl Lam isn't in the lead before he even takes that penalty here, because with a penalty, Carl Lam's frustration is only going to increase even further. And in the background, it looks like NZ has picked up a penalty as well. That's a real shame. Let's have a look. I believe so. Yes. So again, 0.5 of a second penalty for NZ. More mistakes being made, and now his chances of fighting for the win have just disappeared, it seems. But Carl Lam is going to drop to, I'd say, 4th place here when we hit the back straight, should he still be in the lead. And Taki Tally will be the new race leader. And Taki Tally, well, there's no point really trying to go for a move now. Taki Tally, I say that, but to look down the inside.
That could have been dangerous. We've seen people do that before and then have contact.
Yeah.
And then cost themselves 5 seconds, which is, for Taki Tally would be an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
0.5 is okay. Imagine the penalty 10 times that though. That's enough you get the contact around it. So really, you have to try and. This is where you have to think. Right, okay. I know I'm faster. I know the guys behind are there, but they can't pass me, and I can't pass the guy in front.
Yeah,
He's going to have a penalty in the straight. Just wait for the straight.
Yeah.
Wait for the straight. Get by. Then worry about the guys behind, because racing is full of uncertainty. Yeah. The certainty is that Carl Lam will have a penalty in the straight, so you got to take that into your head and know that you will have that opportunity to get by if needs be. So yeah, keep it calm, be good. It's a long race around here. I mean, half an hour for the 3 laps around here, about that or so for the race. And that might not seem like a long time, but half an hour of constant pressure, constant corners. It's a very long time when you're in the hot seat. I can tell you that.
I'll tell you what, this is when I think I wish I had the same approach to when I was racing to what I have now, sitting in a commentary box. Basically, it's so easy to say, and I've made the same mistakes of just throwing something away before. But Taki Tally is just dropped away a little bit now, and that's probably for the best, because Taki Tally not in a position to pass now, and will go into the race lead very shortly once we hit the back straight. Just running a little bit wide again. Got to be careful. Does not want a half-a-second penalty as well, otherwise won't go into the lead.
Well, really, Lam, if he can get a bit more of a gap, he'll still lose the lead, I think, but it won't be so damaging. So he's got a second now for this last sector. If he can manage to maybe get another half a second there, then he'll be looking a lot better than he was. I think that Taki Tally will still pass him with just the momentum from not having to brake there. It'll be close, we'll see. I do think that Lam will probably end up fourth after this, but he'll have the toe. We know how quick he is. I mean, when he's chill, last sector there, he seems to pull off a bit at a time, but it's just that coming onto the Nordschleife, that initial part, it really seems to struggle there. That's where I think he needs to try and work on for the next lap. And that's big there. Taki Tally had a really poor exit out of the second carousel, which has given Lam a little bit of breathing room. Let's see how he is through here. Big sideways moment. Now he's pushing. He knows, wait a minute, I could have just lost this here. That gap's going up, 1.3 seconds, but now on the brakes goes Lam with penalty and off again. So he's now driving clear. Will Taki Tally have it? He does. He's got the momentum, but Lam's really not suffered as much as he could have done. And Taki Tally, who was almost guaranteed to take the lead, is now in a position where he might only just get it towards the end. He's got the toe though. I think he will get by. But Lam, he was really good for that last sector where he needed to be. So Lam goes to the outside. There's no chance to defend this. Sergey goes up the inside. That's a change of a lead there. But now Lam ducks back into the draft of Taki Tally in front and will not have to worry about Nick KL or Turismo Leicester. So Lam, whilst having the penalty, I think he played that really well.
I've got to say, that was very good to just get to the outside of the circuit, let Taki Tally go through and then duck straight back in. It was not worth doing something silly and trying to defend very heavily. Lam did exactly the right thing, I think, there. And here we go, he's right in the fight. Oh, what's going on here? That's strange.
Well, he's out the running. So maybe he's burnt his tyres, but that's a very odd decision there. We know these hard tyres can go to the end, we know that.
Taki Tally didn't get the memo.
No, that's him out of the race pretty much. He's not going to come back from that. So Lam probably thinking, all right,
what happened?
Yeah, fair enough. It's like, he's gone from panic to relief there, and I think Taki Tally maybe having a bit of a brain fart, we call it.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. That's very strange.
That's a shame from us in the booth there, because we're having a four-way scrap for the fight for the win. Now it's only a three-way scrap, but still, what a scrap it's going to be. We've got Lam, Nick KL, and Turismo Leicester, three heavyweights of the North American region, duking it out here at the Nürburgring 24-hour circuit. I mean, lots of good words in that sense.
Well, I mean, these sports hard tyres, they don't really go off that much. So, what was the thing? I mean, could you have ever thought? You know, we obviously showed the strategy at the start. They're going to go to the end. Why has Taki Tally done that? I mean, I'm struggling to find a reason. I mean, really,
this is a fast race. I mean, the fastest lap so far we've had is a 9:53, and usually we're used to seeing 58, 57 as being the fastest lap. So this is a fast race as well. The guys at the front are really pushing it. I mean, we're both here, kind of speechless, wondering what's going on there. All I can assume is he burned the tyres. I don't know what. I mean, he was really sending over some of these corners, but even when doing that, I could go out and set those tyres on fire and they'll still be good. You know, they're so durable. I don't know. I think maybe just hasn't done the practice. I mean, that's something around here as well. We don't really talk about, because all you guys see is a race. You don't see the practice and preparation for the race, which is often a lot longer than the race itself. And I always say it's a really good idea, as Nick KL looks at the back of Lam there, but it's a really good idea to go out and run a race, basically, run a race distance if you can. You can do that in sim, and race simulation, they call it in the real world. Just essentially find out how the car changes, what it's going to do, can you get the tyres running, and I'm going to suggest that maybe Taki Tally didn't do that.
Yeah, it's easy not to, but some people just want to race, you know, and they never just want to go out on their own. Well, let's see. The gap was over 5 seconds to Arku. It's now 4.3. It's not coming down enough. I mean, he would need to already be past Arku. He'd need to already be catching Salati Cyrus, because there's a 6-second gap between third and fourth. So absolutely no chance, in my opinion.
I'm fairly sure he needs to set a world record lap by some way to to get to the back of the pack.
Well, he needs to jump into a different car,
Yeah,
basically. He needs to jump into a Group 2 car.
He needs to go into the Group 3 version of this car. Maybe it'll catch him up, but not so the road car. He's certainly trying, but I'm still not really sure. Anyway, we won't talk about it too much. So obviously, we've got no idea still after all this time.
We'll go back to this. Look at this. 8th place has got it's got a penalty. So
big penalty.
There was contact somewhere, but at some point. This is a good battle. 4-way scrap for 9th. We'll essentially discount 8th place.
Darryl, who got a penalty earlier on in the race.
Good spot.
He's in 12th, and that just shows you how damaging that was. He was fighting for 5th position. Now he's on the back of P11, trying to find a way by, and a bit of a traffic jam here. Very expensive traffic jam as well as we come down to the left-hander, going to the right-hander here. Arenberg, big break, please. There you go. Everyone going a bit wide there. Darryl looks up the inside of 11th position. That's Cards fan. They're going to go side by side down towards the Vauxhall now. This is not really a place you want to go side by side. It's only really big enough for one car down here. They squeeze by there just about. Neither want to give up the track. This is great racing, and it looks like that Daweezy will have the inside here for the left-hander. But Doc's going to try and go around the outside, pushes wide, and then big sideways moment, gathers it back up. No, he doesn't. Round he goes, round goes Daweezy, tries to gather it back up again, but just I think maybe he should have gone. I've lost this, you know. It's not a place you want to race through there. There's so much elevation, there's so much difference in how the circuit changes through there that going side by side just does not work. And Dr. Bardock comes out in 9th place, probably thinking, when did Daweezy go? Where's he gone? Well, here's a replay of what happened. You can see just too close, Chris.
Yeah, let's have a look then. A bit out of shape there, but it gets it back together again. And well, too much curb there over the grass as well, and all out of shape. And our Cards fan had nowhere to go but straight into the front of him, and Daweezy then was into the barriers, and self-inflicted, unfortunately. So
sorry, looking super there, isn't it?
Yeah,
just a bit of paint from the front.
It's going to be a little bit expensive, but there is 9th place now, and we've got just behind Cards fan, and that's an extra place for Darryl, isn't it? But as we've already talked about, you see how hard it is to get back through. Cards fan.
I think he got that done. There was a bit of a mistake there from Cardstan. Darryl just wings it around the outside. A little bit of contact there from Cardstan. The way through, and Darryl goes, you know what, I'm going to just plant the throttle, and I'm having this. Before he goes to 10th place. So back in the top 10 for Darryl, which is a good recovery, considering what happened there. And of course, there are penalties in front of him as well, so that's another place essentially guaranteed down the straight. So Darryl might be able to pick up a couple more places before the race is out. But of course, he'll still be thinking, what if?
Cards fan lucked out there, and Darryl is 10th place then. We've got Totally Lit catching in as well, haven't we? So that's an interesting one. In 12th place, so once again this is going to be a 3-way battle with Darryl at the head of it, Cards fan in 11th, and Totally Lit in 12th. If you're wondering, well, what's happening with the leaders, of course you can see to the left of your screen that we are spread out now. 1.4 between first and second, 8 tenths between second and third, and 9 seconds back to fourth. But we were with a close battle a little bit further back. I think that was for 5th place, and here it is. Salati, Cyrus, Arku, Sergey as well.
And Taki Tally coming back through the field on the fresh tyres. He's gained about 4 seconds on this pack, which is good pace. But beyond 5th position, he's got another 9 seconds after that. So.
There we go, that's another one.
Easy there. That was, I thought RC went wide there, but I think he just about managed to stay on the runoff there. There's a little bit of paved section just on the exit of the corner. I think he used that. Taki Tally, I think, looking to the inside here, really keen to get by quickly. It looks to the outside, going to try and cut back in there. Almost gets it done, but it's just contact with the rear. This is a bad place to do that. Very easy to pick up a penalty here, and this is something a bad part of the strategy of trying to pit and get fresh tyres, is that you've got to get past people again. That's easy to set. And again, more contact there. Taki Tally getting really impatient, and I think if he's not careful, he'll end up with a penalty. I'm
not surprised. He, I think, can realise now that he has unfortunately played his cards completely wrong. There is a chance of getting 4th place at best. This is going to be 4-way fight towards the end, and if it's like this going down the straight wall last time, Taki Tally, if he's very, very lucky, could pick up a few places, but that'll be it at best, and that's a real shame considering he had just worked so hard to go and pick up the lead. of the race, and it's a real shame because it would have been a great fight to the end, I'm sure, between Taki Tally and Karl Lamb.
He's filling the mirrors of RC and then some. Look how close he is to the back of that gold-coloured Supra there, coming over the blind right hand and now downhill again. And RC is doing all the right things, just keeping the car on the part of the circuit where it's impossible to pass, essentially. But Taki Tally's not taking no for an answer. He's trying to find any way around the American driver in front, and he's now looking up the inside of the corner we affectionately call YouTube corner, which is just not a place to pass. But he's trying to make a pass. Look to the outside now. He's really giving RC a lot to do, and I mean, he's put himself in this position, so you can't really feel too sorry for him, unfortunately. But it's just a matter of can he find a way by before we get to the straight, and all this squabbling. RC's taking slightly different lines to how he usually would. It's now actually bringing them back from the cars in front, so they're actually they're falling off 5th and 4th position.
Yeah, they are indeed, and 2 groups of 2 it is now for the 4th place battle. NZ versus Salati Cyrus, RC versus Taki Tally, and it is getting a little bit closer actually for 2nd place as well up ahead as we approach the final back straight between Nick and Leicester. But look at Taki Tally, the driver who was in the lead, came into the pits very strangely, and now finds himself battling for 6th place as we go around the 2nd carousel and up towards that aforementioned back straight.
He's given us some, I'll give him that, but I'm not sure it's going to be the fastest way of doing it. I've noticed the gap between Leicester and Nick is coming down now, so that indicates that he's in the toe, so there could be a chance here for Turismo Leicester to take Nick KL on the line. Here it is then, big toe down the straight, but a long way down of a straight left. This could be it. Nick KL can't really defend here. So much you can really do apart from driving the straight line. And Turismo Leicester's getting very close now. In 3 attempts, in 2 attempts, he's going to go for the move. Will he go inside? Will he go outside? Which is he going to play? He goes to the outside. He's going to try and get himself the inside line for the last part of the course. Takes the momentum, goes round the outside there in the gold Supra, and that's that done. The Turismo Leicester now has track position. Can he keep cool and keep the braking well and stop in time for this last section? He does. Nick KL has nowhere to go. Great pass there for Turismo Leicester at the last point, but it's this man, Karl Lamb, who will take the win for the North American region in the GR Supra Cup. What a race by him. Kept it cool under pressure, managed to keep it all together, and that's a win to his sheet with Leicester 2nd and Nick KL 3rd. But who's going to come home in 4th?
Well, let's see it. Salati Cyrus leading it at the moment, and that looks like enough of a gap to me. NZ tried everything, but Salati Cyrus it is who is going to be 4th place. NZ finishes in 5th place. RC is just going about to hold on to 6, holding off Taki Tally, and then here come the rest of the field. We got DCTR there in 8th place. Daryl finishing in 9th place in the end after that penalty. 33 thousandths ahead of Totally Lit. Cards Fan was 11th. And KV Den was in 12th place. Darweezy after his earlier spin was 13th, and it was Racing Swordsman, Apple Pop, Fluffy Buddha, Calm, and we had DNA Wise, and Theo Racing was in 19th place. But a flawless performance from Karl Lamb. Well, I wouldn't say, of course, Taki Tally came into the pits, but nevertheless, you can't take anything away from that last lap performance in particular. 2.4 seconds the gap over Turismo Leicester and Nick KL in the end. A deserved win from Karl Lamb. Turismo Leicester 2nd, Nick KL 3rd, Salati Cyrus 4th, NZ 5th. In the end, of course, it was a very close battle there for 2nd. Here you can see Daryl was 9th, Totally Lit rounded out the top 10. Going down towards 16th, you can see Apple Pop there finished in 16th place. Close battles all the way through there. 14th to 16th looked like a close one as well, as did 12th and 13th. A couple of seconds back in the end was Darweezy, and then there were the rest of the field. 17th, 18th, 19th, Calm, DNA, Wise, and Theo Racing. So here are the points. Round 5 of 13 now completed. Karl Lamb leads the way by around 300 points with no Turismo Deaf Son this time. Ibrahim is currently 3rd place. Nick KL with a great result there, up to 12th place. Turismo Leicester up to 6th. NZ up to 9th place. Fantastic racing, and there is more on the way in the shape of an exhibition race at the Nürburgring. We're going to be doing a live broadcast on June the 21st, so make sure you join us for some fantastic racing. But for now, it's goodbye.